good morning.
Hi.
Good morning, Ed.
Hi.
Oh, Jimmy. Say, where's your big brother this morning?
Well, we let Steve take the morning off this morning, Ed.
Oh, he stayed in bed, I guess, eh? Well, too bad he didn't make it. Well, nice to see you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
What's the matter with Steve this morning? How come he didn't have to go to church when I did?
That's something I'd like somebody to answer.
Yeah.
Jimmy, Steve had a late night. He's tired.
Some excuse.
Now, just you never mind. Dinner will be ready in about a half an hour.
Okay, I'm going down to the basement.
Change your clothes.
Yeah.
Ann, we're making a mistake letting Steve get away with this. What's the matter with him all of a sudden, anyway? He used to be a nice, obedient kid like Jimmy.
He's not Jimmy's age anymore.
He's not even up yet.
Harry, sit down. I want to talk this thing over before Steve appears. And I want you to listen. Now, I know Steve came in far too late last night.
We don't even know what time he came in last night, except it was after 3 a.m.
Now, just a minute, Harry. Steve is almost grown up. And don't say anything until I finish. He's old enough to know right from wrong. Molly Thornton was telling me she had exactly the same trouble with Bob a few years ago, and she left him absolutely alone. And before long, he was keeping sensible hours without a word from anyone.
But, Ann, Steve is not like Bob. You know Steve. He'll drop his homework if one of the gang calls up.
You're not showing much faith in your own son.
That's nonsense. I'm worried about his schoolwork. Is he going to get through high school and go to college, or is he not? Well, right now, it doesn't look too hopeful. I'm telling you what he needs, and what every kid needs. He needs to be told what to do, and if he doesn't do it, we punish him. That's all there is to it.
Harry, I remember you telling me how strict your father was. How you used to sneak out because you thought his rules were unfair.
Well, they were unfair, too.
You told me you behaved worse. Because he was so strict, you rebelled.
That's right.
Well, then how about listening to my idea for handling Steve? We can at least try.
Well, what is it?
We won't even mention last night. Treat him just like a grown-up. Act as though we weren't concerned at all.
Not say anything?
Not anything. Now, Steve will probably be down at any moment. We ought to look as though we hadn't even thought about him. You know, he'll probably have a perfectly good explanation for why he was so late last night. Then he'll apologize. You'll see.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Mom.
Hello, dear.
Say, Dad, I was wondering if I could use the car after dinner. Some of the fellows want to go into town this afternoon, and I said I could probably get our car. Hear me, Pop?
Yeah, sure, son. I won't be using it.
Thanks, Pop. What time's dinner, Mom?
About a half an hour.
That was some explanation. Some apology he gave us.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
Have you missed me, baby?
Oh, sure. Cokes for everyone?
After last night, give me coffee, good and strong.
You're getting to be a real playboy, aren't you, Steve?
What do you guys get to do all the homework I hear the teachers give you?
Well, my aim is to enjoy life, honey. Don't spoil it by talking about homework.
All you men about town want coffee?
Yeah. With cream for me.
Me too.
And a couple of donuts?
Hey, I'll have a piece of that apple pie,
Make
Flo.
it 2 apple pie, Flo.
Hey, were your folks mad at you when you came in last night? Mine were. They were sitting up waiting for me. Started to yell at me right then and there.
If you're not in by 10, they seem to think you're robbing old ladies or taking dope or something.
You know what my dad said to me? He said he'd beat the tar out of me, but good if I ever stayed out later than 1 o'clock again. What does he think I am, an 8-year-old kid?
Oh, I don't know. My folks and I had quite a talk this morning about staying out late. They understood why I stayed out late last night. But they pretty well convinced me it wasn't a good idea.
Oh, come off it.
You know what I'd do if my dad tried anything on me? I'd leave home. I wouldn't stand for it. Nobody's going to give me that stuff.
Well, I don't mind a few rules, as long as they stay the same. The trouble with my dad is he doesn't know what he wants. He seems to change his mind every day.
Who's having a pie?
Right here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Donuts here.
Not eating today, Steve?
Just coffee.
Will that be all for you, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Say, I bet Flo'd be a lot of fun on a date.
Oh, she wouldn't go with you.
Oh, no?
Oh, take this, kid.
She'd sure cause a sensation if I took her to the Harmony Hop on the 21st. Say, you got a date for the dance, Steve?
Oh, sure, I'll ask Jeannie. It's going to run into money, though. Let's see, tickets for 2, something to eat afterwards. Chipping in on the gas. Oh, that's really going to stretch my allowance.
Yeah, it costs a lot of dough to go anywhere, practically. My dad can't understand why kids don't stay at home the way he did. But boy, he never makes it much fun for me to stick around.
Yeah, it kills me. The way parents forget that you got to have fun while you're young. You know, I figure that social is just about as important as anything you do.
More toast, dear?
No, thanks, dear. Was Steve up when you came down?
Yeah, he was washing. He's gonna be late for school. Bye, Dad. Bye, Mom.
Goodbye, dear.
Enough is enough. Not one word have we said to Steve about the hours he keeps. And it's got worse every weekend for the last 3 weeks. Now it's on a weekday. It's 8 o'clock and he's not down yet. And no wonder. Heaven knows what time he got in this morning. And I'm not standing for this any longer.
I know, Harry. I can't understand why he's so foolish. He must know better. I thought he'd come to his senses by himself the way Molly Thornton said Bob did.
That's not the way to handle Steve, though. Look at his last report card and see how much he's learning. He doesn't seem to care about earning any money, just spending mine and having a good time.
I know. I don't want to let him spoil his life.
That's exactly what we're doing, though. And what gets me, he's so cocky. Comes and goes without a word to us. Seems to take all this for granted. There's something to be said for good old-fashioned discipline.
Maybe you're right, Harry. I don't know what to do. I'll let you handle it this time.
I'll straighten him out. Steve! Steve, do you hear me? Come down here right away. I want to talk to you. Oh, you did manage to get up this morning.
Oh, sure. I guess I didn't hear the alarm go off. Oh, boy, I feel kind of tired.
You feel sort of tired.
Yeah.
I should think anyone with any common sense would know if he kept the hours you've been keeping, that he'd feel tired. I've stood for all the nonsense I'm going to, Steve. Your mother and I thought that perhaps you'd see for yourself that these hours are no good. But apparently not. Your school marks are a disgrace.
And what's hit you all of a sudden, Pop?
Steve, your father is terribly worried about your schoolwork. You know we want you to go to college next year. You just don't seem to care.
You can't treat me like a kid.
Oh, no? Well, listen to this, young man. Considering your last report card, you're staying in every night for a week and study, starting tonight.
It's my business what I do with my time.
You don't seem to have enough common sense to know what to do about anything. And here's something else for you to think about. I'm cutting off your allowance for a week as punishment for your rudeness.
But, Dad, the school dance is a week from tomorrow night. I've got to go. I mean, Jeannie will be counting on it, and I need my allowance to pay for it.
You've nobody but yourself to blame. If you'd start earning some money of your own for a change, you wouldn't get stuck like this. If you can't decide between your schoolwork and having a good time, then I'll decide for you.
That's unfair. You don't say anything about this to me for weeks, and all of a sudden you begin. You don't understand.
I understand this much. You'll stay in every night for a week and study, and there'll be no allowance.
Steve, your breakfast.
Has Steve asked you to the dance yet, Jeannie?
No, but he'd better. I've just bought a dreamy new dress. Mother nearly died when she found out how much it cost.
I'd die if Bill waited this long to ask me. We just take it for granted we'll go together.
Hi. Going down to help decorate, Jeannie?
Sure, Steve and I are on the committee.
Steve says he can't come.
School dances are for kids. I'm sick of the same dances with the same people at them doing the same things.
Well, you're going, aren't you?
Look, I got to talk to you.
What's got into him? He talks like a jerk.
I always figured he was a swell guy, but now I don't know.
You through with this?
Yes, sure, son.
Here, dear, I made you a cup of cocoa. This has been the most uncomfortable week I've ever spent.
Why? What's the matter?
You know perfectly well what's the matter. Steve hasn't spoken an unnecessary word to us since last Friday. It's been awful.
Just sulking. He'll get over it.
I don't like it. He's been humiliated. Wish we'd treated him more like an adult.
That failed completely, as we found out. This punishment will do him a world of good. Something drastic was needed. Steve will be a different person from now on.
He's different now, and I hate it. We've got to find a better way to discipline him. Why can't we talk things over with him? Try to make him realize why we're punishing him.
Steve's parents have obviously created a bad situation. His mother assumed that Steve knew what he should do and has failed to give him guidance. Steve's father has assumed that laying down the law was enough. Were both assumptions wrong? Why? Steve is now so embittered, he may react in a way that could seriously affect his future education and work, as well as his personality development. If you were Steve's parents, what would you do?